Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gray Man Prepping. It is time for Survival Saturday, and tonight's topic, or today's topic, depending where you're at and what time zone, is the worst states for grid collapse. And how's everybody doing out there? Let me go over here and hit the comment section here so I can see who all came in when. All right, so first one in was Walt Rogers, followed by Phelan Clan Wolf, then Pat Small, then Sue Me, then Mark at Chef Tech, Lee at Cold War Prepper. It's Big Joe at Grow Big TV. Phelan's pointed out he's been a channel member for 15 months. Idaho Garden Girl came in next. Aiden Ear from across the pond. Joseph Moore. Kaylin Strains here. It's the Marshmallow Man from north of the border. Hey, Lewis. Let's see. Diana 2 is here. Did I say Sumi? Well, Sumi's here. Make sure I don't miss anybody going through here. Today he's doing his Uber stuff, so he's got a ride. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight is in the house. Let's see what else we got here. And okay, so we're caught up on everybody coming in. So just remind everybody, please hit the thumbs up. If you're, Seabass is here too. Woohoo! Tonight's topic, let me get a drink of water here first. This is going to be a good one. All right. Tonight's topic, I'm going to be, before I start naming states, I'm going through a list of what I use to help judge where I put the states on this list. Susan Gallet is here. Woo! And some of the information I can't talk about because it's still rated either as classified or as SSI, which is security sensitive information by the federal government, from when I used to be the emergency management coordinator over there. Even though all the stuff that I'm going to talk about and use is public information, but because I had access to the classified portions of it, I can't mention those because there might be a thing saying, oh, well, he's using classified. No, froze. I'm using what's out there in the public information so you guys can look this stuff up too if you go digging for it. But I'm going to try to make it simple here for you. All right. Oh, one other thing I almost forgot here. If you are a lurker, that's fine. Lurking is fine, but please, at least check in and say, hey, lurking, and then you go back to lurking and hit the thumbs up on that as well. All right. Okay, so let's get over to this portion. So the worst states for grid collapse. Now let's look at that map there without the stuff on it. This map is a little tweaked. I noticed it after I started. I noticed this afternoon. Example here, up in Idaho here, that bright north than that. So you can see my little cursor moving up there. Boise should be up there. Up here on the border of Oregon and Washington, that's Seattle, and that needs to be up there. San Francisco, this bright spot here, needs to be up a bit higher up there. And LA needs to be a bit farther than, yeah, so the map is not sitting right on the photograph from the satellite view. So, but for general purposes, you can see California is really bright along the coast, and semi-bright up along here. This little bright spot right there is actually up there. That's Reno. That's supposed to be in Nevada. So yeah, there's the map's a little bit actually the map needs to be curved and set up like that to match the curvature of the Earth a little bit better. But over here on the East Coast, okay, so we got New York, New Jersey, DC. Yeah, everything's lit up really bright over there. So, Tammy Harder is here. So when you look at this map and think about it going out, don't put this in the type, don't type it into the side chat, but just think it to yourself. okay, what is going to be the biggest impacted one? And am I near there? And if I'm not near there, how close is the big impact area to me? El Paso's probably showing up, but it's not. But the map's probably off a little bit. So, all right. Either that or they had all the lights turned off when the picture was taken. Yeah, exactly. And everybody wondered how come the East Coast has and parts of Canada have all these power outages. All right, so let's move on here a little bit. You know, so that big bright spot covered from Hartford down in here down to Philadelphia and New York, Newark, and the whole brightness, is just phenomenal on it. So I can say right now, even though it's not a state, Long Island's one place I don't want to be. I'll let that one go there. uh, it all depends on whether you're out on your property or not, Mark. Jeremy's here, Tennessee Tactical One. Woo-hoo. All right, let's look down and go down to the next one here. All right, so things that could cause a power outage. Believe it or not, the caption on this one was snow damage, where snow and ice had built up on it, and it got at the top got kind of solid with snow and ice, and the wind caught it, and took it over. So Mother Nature, of course, you could have one of these that have been sabotaged. I mean, you look at the way they're built; they're not that hard to sabotage. Yep. All righty. Lightning. Mother Nature strikes again, discharging on the power lines and stuff. So let's look at the states as a whole, because some states, like Texas, take up a huge amount of area, yet their population centers are in certain areas. Hey, Utah Mike, Devil Dog Prepper, welcome. So if you're looking at a state for its sustainability or its worstness, or however you want to put it, whatever you're looking at it for, in a power outage, grid down situation, you need to look at the state as a whole. And then you need to look at the location within the state for where you're at, or possibly where you're going to retire to, which is what my wife and I did when we were getting ready to retire and get out of California. All right. Once you when you're looking at the locations in the state, you got to also take into consideration populations. And if you go back to let me run back here real quick to the other photograph here. Excellent. There we go. The brightness here, those are high density populations. And so you got to think about, all right, high density populations, power go out. You're not just going to have 1, 2, 10, 20 people that are freaking out. You're going to have a lot more people freaking out. Let's get back down here to this. Okay. Also, things to consider about how a power outage is going to affect you in that area. Water supply. Are you on a well? Is your city on a well? Do you have water that is being pumped from 400 miles away, like Los Angeles' water is pumped from 400 miles away up north by Stockton, up in the Delta there? They divert the water from the Sacramento River and the Stanislaus River and several other rivers, and they ship it down to Southern California. No pumps, no water being pumped down to Southern California. Then there's the also Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, Colorado. The water gets pumped out of the Glen Canyon Dam and the Hoover Dam to those locations as well. No power, no pumping water. Steve, Corsair's Trader, is in the house. He's on lurking status. All right, Steve, thank you for checking in. So, water supply is something else that's going to be affected besides just the power going out. Some states have light pollution regulations, can't be seen as bright. True, some states do have pollution restrictions. I also know that a lot of places violate that left and right, unfortunately. Next thing is food supply. If the power goes out, how is that going to affect your food supply? All right, let's put a time frame on this first. Let's jump on down to duration down here. If the power is out for 3 weeks, the grid has a catastrophic failure across the United States, and so many stuff have had problems, substations going up in flames and other things like that. That power is going to be out for 3 weeks before they're able to get it back up and running. How is that going to affect your food supply when the grocery store gets stuff delivered to it because they don't have enough food to stocked in the store for 3 days on average? So if there is a problem with the grocery stores getting it, what about the wholesale warehouses? And all right, now you got the trucks that are delivering it, but wait a minute, if the trucks can't fuel up, they can't get fuel. Hey, Tibor. So if trucks can't get fuel because there's no power to pump the diesel fuel to fill the trucks up, they can't deliver to the grocery store. Of course, the grocery store, unless they have a generator where they can power up and keep the cold stuff cold, make the cash registers work and stuff, how are they going to do it? But then again, just because the store is able to power up doesn't mean that their internet system is going to work to be able to use your credit card or your debit card to do anything. And whether or not they can actually ring up an amount for you to pay cash only is going to be another problem. Hey, checked off. How's it going? The higher density of homesteaders, gardeners, preppers would help everyone in that area. Yeah, I could see that. Oh, we're getting the crime rates. So food supply, water supply are going to be things that most people don't think about when they're saying, I'm getting ready for a power outage. I got all these oil lamps and these LED flashlights and all these rechargeable batteries, and I got a solar rechargeable for it. I got a generator for my house. I got solar panels on my house, and I got a big battery bank, so I can disconnect from the grid and I'll be just fine. But like I said, what about water and food supply? And everybody, speaking of water, everybody rehydrate. All right. A lot of cashiers can't do the math that total up the grocery bill, let alone make change. Exactly. Back when I was talking about checking your receipts on one of the live streams, one of the ones had a problem. They showed that the tax was like 10 times what it was supposed to be. Actually, no, it was 4.5 times what it was supposed to be. And not even the managers could do the math to figure out what the tax was supposed to be and why it was wrong. You worked on it, Bill. Yeah. My dad was, I'm not sure which dam it was, but one of the dams, my dad, when he was in his early 20s, was running a earth mover on it. Yeah, not so he's doing clearing stuff and moving supplies around and stuff. Uh, and yes, temperature will have an effect on crime as well. All right, have fun with your grandson, Lee. Oh yes, railroads. I forgot about that, Kaylin. Thank you. Oh, my wife and my mother-in-law are going to beat me for that. You know, the whole family is railroading fanatics and stuff. Yeah, switching stations need electricity to divert trains, choose the correct track. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said at least 3 weeks, 4 weeks for the duration, but duration could be longer. I mean, remember old school prepper um, over there in Oregon had power was out for was it 10, 12 days, and she was recording videos until it came back on. They had some power, generator and stuff, but she was able to record stuff. And then once it was power came back on, she started posting videos. Hey Jay's in the house here. All right, so crime rate. What is the current crime rate in your city? You can expect that to increase exponentially every day the power is out. And if news gets out, power's going to be out for 3 weeks. I say you're on day 3, and it's going to be 3 more weeks before they can start getting the power back up. Because some radio stations have generators and stuff, and they'll be getting some information out. Of course, ham radio operators will be spreading information. So once word gets out that this is going to be a fairly long durational short-term event, 3 weeks or so, you can expect crime rate to go bonkers, because all these criminals are going to realize, hey, wait a minute, there's no burglar alarms working anywhere. Most of the cell towers aren't working, so people can't call for help because hardly anybody has a landline anymore. So to them, it's going to be, ooh, it's party time. The Vermont Power Company wants to provide battery backups to homeowners to improve reliability. Yes, I've heard several power companies talking about that. But the problem is the battery backup they're providing, how long is that going to last? 48 hours? 72 hours? That's going to be about it. Exactly, Jay. Things are going to start going sideways fairly fast. Hey, Stephanie Joe Roundtree. Woo, woo, woo. Welcome. All right, so crime rate is going to go bonkers. And another determining factor is, what is the weather like? Are you in the mud season, the snow season, the extremely hot season? What is your weather like for going on when the power goes out? Exactly. Question here: aren't there a lot of electric security features in prisons? Yes, the gates, the doors, and stuff to the cells, the gates to the areas, the cell blocks. A lot of that is have electrical magnetic locks on them. Sometimes, though, the locks, they've been switching them to positive lock, so that if the power goes out, everything remains locked, and the power is used to unlock the cells, the gates, the doors, and stuff like that. Yes, Chekhov. And that's the other thing. Natural gas. Natural gas is provided by pumps. They pressurize the system, get natural gas to you, And so depending where you're at, what area, and how big the natural gas supply lines are at, and how many people are on natural gas, it will determine how fast the pressure goes down. All right, next one, season. It's a little bit different than the weather. Weather is talking about storms and, excessive heat, excessive cold stuff. But seasons. What season is it when it happens? Power goes off at the beginning of spring, be a little bit better off. Beginning of summer, most people have their gardens in. They're going to be a lot better off, those that have gardens and stuff. And yeah, Steve just confirmed it. Steve used to work in the federal prison system. Doors won't open if the power goes off. Protect the guards. Yes. So if it's beginning of summertime, some people are not going to be affected. Others are going to be affected. Beginning of summer is still pretty mild weather, but the problem is everything above here: water, food, crime, all these other things just are going to be compounding factors in what's going to happen. Now, if it's the beginning of fall, a lot of homesteaders and come on, brain work. Preppers that have gardens, gardens up. They're canning. They're getting stuff all canned, or they just completed canning, or they're still harvesting stuff. So, and if they do have solar power for their house, backup grid stuff, they can keep on canning. Those people can keep their chest freezers stuff going until they get they're going to realize, okay, we may lose power here because our solar is providing 90% of what we use, so we're dropping down a little bit. So we're going to have to start metering what we're using as far as power so we can do stuff. And so there are going to be there's going to be other things to consider as far as those that have some power. Now, those that say, I got a backup generator and stuff. It runs on natural gas until the natural gas pressure drops down. And if you happen to have a lot of propane ones and stuff, and you're very judicious in how you run your propane generator, you can stretch it out. Okay, we run it for half an hour every 4 hours, so the refrigerator and freezers can get cold again. And we don't go into refrigerators and freezers unless we absolutely have to. We make sure what we're going to grab, we go in quick, grab, close the door real quick. Those with gardens, and if the power is out to the city water supply, and you're going to lose pressure there. Now, interesting thing, some cities like ours, we got a big ground-based water tank, and we have pumps that pump water from that to pressurize the city's water system. Now, the house in California, up on the hill, several hundred feet above the house, is a huge, monstrous water tank, and they've added 2 more up there recently because of all the development. And so everybody down below it is on gravity feed. So it's gravity feed down to you. So like for my wife, they'll still be getting water. Of course, with my son, I've taken my son around and showed him where all the water shutoff valves in the streets are. So water can be turned off to other areas so people aren't wasting it, and there'll be more water to the house there. Anyways, like here, let me put that back up again, hit the wrong. Okay, for here with if I need to water the garden stuff, I got a little 2-inch pump, gasoline powered pump. I can fire it up and I can fill up my IBC totes full of water in less than an hour, actually about less than half an hour. I can fill them all up, turn that sucker off, and then I just use my solar powered electric pump to water the garden. But like Stephanie says, hand pumps. If you have a well and the power's out and you don't have solar to power your well, hand pumps. And that's what Martha at Old School Prepper was doing. They had a hand pump out there, and they're filling buckets, bringing buckets in, filling up the toilets, and keeping an extra bucket to refill the toilets. Uh, 1,000 gallon. Yeah, you might need to drink that. Yeah. Also, the other thing which is good for me here, Snake River is a quarter-mile away. As the crow flies, it's about 1.5 miles to drive around and get down to it, where I can put an IBC tote in the back of my truck, go down there, fill that up 275 gallons, bring it back up to the house there, and fill stuff up and run it through the filtration system. Chipper says, hey, Chipper. Chipper says, I have an RP hooked to a battery on wheels, solar charger to keep it charged, hooked to an IBC tote. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so yeah, IBC totes will last only so long. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 IBC totes, 6 times 200. I'm getting up the calculator here. 6 times 275 equals 1,650 gallons. That's going to last me a long time. That'll last me and my daughter across. Actually, all right, let me bring the calculator back up again. Got this again. Do this right again. So that was okay. 6 times 275 equals that, divided by 7 people up here. That gives us 230 gallons of drinking water, 235 gallons of drinking water. That's going to last us a little over half a year, 2/3 of a year. But like I said, we got, and the city is on a well, and they got several generators. And so they've been talking about it. They will go on, tell everybody, all right, we're shutting off the water at, water pressure will be up from this time to this time. Do not water your yards. Do not water your lawns. This is for storing drinking water only and bathing water. You have 1 hour. And then later on in the day, about 6 hours later, you have 1 hour. Yeah. And that's the thing, too. If it's really bad, you don't want to leave home to go to the river. All right. So other considerations. What is the political stance of your state? Some states are trying to say, oh, we don't want people catching water and rain. We don't want people doing this. We don't want you storing food. We don't want you doing that. We don't want you having freedom sticks. We don't want you being able to do this, that, or the other. Other states are like, we want you storing your own water. We want you putting it in your own grid to be able to go off grid. We want you to everybody to conceal carry. We want everybody to have multiple freedom sticks. We want you guys to be self-reliant. Big difference. It depends on what state you're in. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I got 10 gasoline, 5-gallon gasoline cans out in the shop, and I got 10 diesel 5-gallon cans out in the shop as well. And I have so 100. I got 6 30-pound propane tanks, 1 100-pound propane tanks, and 4 20-pound propane tanks. And my generator runs on gas, or natural gas. So the power goes out. I'm hooking up the natural gas first. I'm going to use it on natural gas for as long as I can before I have to start using my others. It's hard to kind of not open it up when it comes. Yeah, exactly. Is stealing looked down upon by your government? Well, our federal government totally believes in stealing from us. So, and the problem is, if you're thinking about, oh, I'm just going to go out and steal stuff, you're going to maybe run into somebody that's bigger, badder than you. And Steve's talked about this on several videos on his, because there's going to be other bigger, badder people out there doing, wanting to do the same thing you're doing. So, also depends on the city. Things can be different on different levels compared to areas of state. Exactly. Now, the other thing that's interesting is for getting water is, I've talked to the former city maintenance guy, the current city maintenance guy, the mayor, especially with the mayor. If the power goes out and it's going to be a long-term outage, we're going to make sure that the irrigation ditch water is flowing so people can pull water from the irrigation ditch. The irrigation ditch goes up several miles upstream and it pulls from the Snake River. So we will be on irrigation water and until the power is restored. Yeah, and don't forget to put the treatment stuff into the diesel fuel tank or gasoline tank. You can get 55-gallon drums of gasoline too. Yeah, water is the number one failure point of all preppers and homesteaders. All right, so let's see what else do I have here. Covered everything on here a little bit. So how I was looking at the states. So let's go down here. What's the next one down here? Okay, so this is what I came up with based on certain things. So California. Sorry, Steve. Depends where you are in California as a whole, because most of the population is in highly dense areas. It's going to go without water and without power. Things are going to go south fairly quickly. So, if you're out like where Uncle Al is, way away from everybody out there, and everybody out there has water wells and stuff like that. Where he's is in California, probably a little bit better. Where a friend of ours have cabins up in the mountains, vacation cabins. If they can get to them, they'll be fine up there for a while. Now, Steve's calling BS, but I forgot to say, Steve will have a tent city set up there, and he'll be serving long pork. Corsair's property is an independent territory. He's fine. Steve probably has solar power, and he's not telling anybody about it. He has a camouflage probably. So Steve is probably a lot better off than he's letting on. He knows to keep his mouth shut on a bunch of stuff he has. Now, and in Northern California, up there above Oroville and stuff, especially the Northeast California, you got a bunch of preppers and homesteaders and farmers and stuff up there and mountain folk, and so that area will be going to be fine. San Francisco, write San Francisco off, write Oakland off, write San Jose off. It's going to be bad. Yeah, Calaveras up there where Angels Camp, and I forget where the Railroad Museum is up there. Yeah, they're good up there. Steve needs more coffee in his stash. and tobacco. So all in all, California, why I retired of California, some of the other information and stuff out there, California will be having problems. It will be having problems, especially where the water is. Because like I said, Southern California gets a boatload of water from the California aqueduct, which has to pump it up over the Grapevine and down in Southern California. No power, no water's going over. Yeah, Eastern Oregon, Eastern Washington are quite different than the two-thirds of the western part of the state. All right. But Oregon has problems, other problems and stuff that put it up on the list. And if everybody remembers how bad Summer of Love was up there in Oregon and Washington, that ain't nothing compared to what's going to happen when the power goes out. New York City and New York. It depends on what part of New York. Some parts of New York are fairly sparsely populated with lots of forest land and agricultural land and stuff. Those areas may overflow. You get to the most densely populated areas where most of the population is, things are going to go crazy. And you're going to get idiots that are going to be trying to evacuate. Oh, 3 weeks or 4 weeks without power. We need to get it out of here and get out to the more rural areas. You're going to have idiots that do that. There'll be some that hunker down, but the problem is too, any major city and any major developed area, even though it's a suburban area, is going to have problems. Just look back at Santa Rosa during the firestorms they had there in California. I mean, there are huge areas of Santa Rosa burnt down. Other towns, other ones totally burnt down. And smaller ones burnt down because the fire came through, and the power wasn't out for the water systems. It was just that once a fire gets going, it's going to be going and stuff. Hey, Prepper 101. So Nevada, biggest city in Nevada, Las Vegas. Natural water there, squat. Most of it's pumped in from the Glen Canyon or the Boulder Canyon dams. That their water is all pumped in. No pumps, no power, no pumps, no water. Arizona, Phoenix, Flagstaff, Glendale, Tempe, all those areas, water is pumped in. Those areas, that's a desert area that had a couple of wells, and they built up, and they pump water in, they pump water in, they pump water in, no water being pumped. There'll be a lot of dehydrated people there real quick. Now, Maine's on here because of its location in the far north. Because if they lose power up there in the wintertime, they're screwed. They are so screwed. No heat, no electric heat, no electricity to be able to deliver the fuel oil to them for their heat, for their oil furnaces there. The natural gas they do have up there, no power, no natural gas. Utah Mike said about, no natural gas in the wintertime makes it very tough. Illinois has a whole different set of problems, but they are cold. They're up there on the lake. Part of the state is on the lake. They got Chicago and other areas that are going to be going downhill. Now, Southern Illinois is going to be a bit better off. So, like I said, it depends on where you are in that state to how bad it's going to be. Prepper for the ages, welcome. New Jersey is a miniature New York City. They're right across the bridge because you're gonna you will have people trying to vacate Long Island out into Jersey, and of course, people are going to run out of gas once in Jersey because we can't get gas in Jersey either. Oh crap, the power's out here too. Connecticut has a lot of exposure to the eastern seaboard, so wintertime in Connecticut's going to be bad. Summertime, not quite so bad, but there are some supply problems up in Connecticut and other New England states up there. Savagely, don't come to nothing here, but dust, guns, meth. Oh, and you forgot wildfires. You forgot wildfires. No natural gas here anytime, never built in. So, Suzanne, I guess they have a lot of homes have propane tanks, the big ones sitting outside. Call it California's model. Minnesota is down, is like 15 on the list or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I did 12 here plus a non-state. So yeah. What was that? Illinois, Jersey, okay, Connecticut, yeah, Michigan. Michigan has a whole set of problems up there, being surrounded by the lake effect, supply problems, getting stuff to it. Minnesota has some supply problems as well, being up that close to Canada, and some of the things as well. But it's farther down on it. Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania, and of course around Pittsburgh, Aliquippa, and some of those areas there are going to be hard hit as well. Yeah, keep your fuel oil tanks full, people. Maryland should be in the top 15 for population. Yeah. Oh, use mostly more fuel oil and wood. Okay. What about Canada, the Maple State? I'm sorry, they got Mr. Idiot Butt up there. That's making it so totally bad up there. Yeah, I don't even want to think about what the power outage is going to affect them up in Eastern Canada up there. Buffalo, New York is going to be a bad spot as well too. Any major city, over 100,000, 200,000 is going to have all sorts of problems. Tornadoes. We have some lovely vistas. Yeah, shredded tornado parks. Yeah. It's sugar. I wouldn't burn it. I would use it more as a sugar substitute and energy for people. Yes, that's it. Castro Jr. up there in Canada. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so I got down to Washington State has problems. Summer of Love there. And then, of course, there is DC and the surrounding areas that are on DC stuff. That is DC crime rate is off the hook, anyways. They've tried to squash reports of crime in there, but it's off the hook. Okay, yeah, Salt Lake City, Draper, Sandy, down to Provo, up to come on, drawing a blank. Ogden, and that hub there. We'll probably get a little bit. Yeah, Trudeau, more like Trudeau. Oh no, Trudeau does do bad stuff. So, but DC area is just going to be off the hook with all the crime rate there, anyways. And once they realize, hey, they can't call the cops on us, ooh, we can go after all the politicians we want, which may be a good thing or not. What do I have afterwards here? Let's see. Do I get anything else coming up here? No. All right. So, Steve, Mark, Guys. All right. Good question here. Hang on, let me get it up. All right. What about nuclear power plants? Well, nuclear power plants will have problems of their own, especially if it's like, oh, the substation's all going boom, boom, boom. Now the nuclear power plant can't shove power out. Yeah, Colorado was another one. It's, Denver down to Colorado Springs, not going to be good. Where I'm here in Idaho, on Snake River, there are several hydroelectric power plants. And generally, they're semi-connected to the grid, but if the grid starts going down, those connections will be severed. And so long as nothing here's Mark. So long as nothing is in our grid area here, our local grid areas, we're not going to have problems. Now, this is just a temporary, short-term, 3 weeks to 4 week power outage. Now, we get something more catastrophic, such as a
EMP,
a CME generating an EMP like the Carrington event. All bets are off. It's probably going to be decades.
Stone Age time.
No, not Stone Age. It's going to be back to revolutionary U.S. time, because they still had artisans and stuff. There are going to be certain things. Some areas will be doing a lot better than others. Other areas will be desolate, Mad Max, Stone Age time, and it's going to be only ain't going to be as well off as they are in Mad Max.
Biggest problem for long term. Anything longer than 3 days, fires.
Yeah, and I said once fires get go, firestorms are going to be one of the biggest killers, especially when you start getting into cold weather and people do stupid things to try to stay warm.
Oh, you got people doing stupid things when it is warm.
Yeah, Denver's not good now. No, it's not. My wife was saying, "Why don't we go to Colorado and stuff?" You can get a job there, job in Colorado before I was retired, and I looked at her. I said, just because the TV show Last Man Standing was with Tim Allen took place in Colorado, most of Colorado, especially the big cities, are right up there with San Francisco, Berkeley, and downtown LA. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, basically any big city is trouble.
Yeah, and the surrounding areas, because people are going to try to get out when things get bad. There are some that are going to be some will shelter in place and try to weather the condition.
That won't last.
Some are going to go, oh, we need to get out of here. And that is going to be the worst state in the union, the state of panic. So when people start panicking,
I remember reading like timelines of what things happen over a certain period of time, and I know it was maybe it was one of the government feeds, like, within the first 2 days, everybody's like, oh, let's cook all the food, so there's barbecues out in everybody's front lawn type of thing, like cooking the food because it's going to go bad. And then day like weeks 2 through 5, that's when the gangs start and stuff. I forget what the actual time. You probably know. You better know a whole lot more about that.
I know that, but unfortunately,
you can't.
The documents I had access to were either classified or SSI, and I can't talk about them.
Okay.
Even though the stuff is out there, other people have released stuff out in public. I'm still forbidden from talking about it because they're considered anything I say is coming from those documents, not what comes from public information.
Right. Well, anyway, so then I'll talk. So, yeah, like the first 3 weeks or something is it's mayhem. People freaking out, trying to get out of town, criminals going crazy, gangs roaming. And then after the first month, the ones that are way out in the middle of nowhere are kind of okay. But now you got the roving gangs going further. They're spreading further out. trying to get food and stuff and whatever they want. And they're not going to be stealing the big screen TVs except for the first 3 days thinking, look at all the stuff I got. Yeah, great. You're never going to plug it in again, but knock yourself out, buddy. Here, take
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. It's the thing is, here where I'm at, South Pocatello, it may get it will get rowdy down there. Blackfoot, a little bit less rowdy. They're not, by the time they work their way up to here, we'll have Firth and Shelley and Basalt will have the area blocked off. We'll just block it off. Because if we know there's no food coming in, we don't want anybody else coming in either. And we'll block it off. And that's some of the things people were discussing before I even moved up here. Howie, Food Forest Permaculture is in the house. The more and more people here in Basalt and in Firth are putting in solar panels on their own. And then, of course, the state is saying, we got all these incentive things and stuff. But if you're doing the state stuff, they don't want you to have battery backup. They want you to remain tied to the grid. Where to go? Ferocious is in the house. Shawnee Shave is here. Yeah, Montana is tough anyways. North Dakota is actually pretty tough as well. But preferably, my wife wanted to be on the eastern side of Idaho. She won. All she said was, I want to be near the grandbaby, so she won. I wanted to go over like Adams County and where there is some big hydroelectric plants on the rivers separating Idaho from the Oregons. I'm throwing nicknames around. No offense. I'm just trying to relieve tension.
You just don't want to be downstream from a dam in case of some other kind of attack might happen.
Well, the thing is, if the dam goes away, where I was looking at was several hundred feet above dam level. And these are small dams. These are small dams, like 4 or 5 small generators on the dam.
Oh, like the Orville Dam, stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Serious question here. If the grid's narrowed down, it's isolated to the U.S., cyber attack maybe. Do you think the odds of eventual? No. Because like the one Japanese soldier general was trying to dissuade
one behind every grass. Yep.
Yeah, dissuade everybody about even engaging the United States in war, because he was here. He was a student here. He saw our infrastructure. He said, no, they are not. They are a sleeping giant. You attack them, and you're going to wake them. There's no way we can invade the mainland because there'll be 2 or 3 rifles behind every bush.
And technically, every hunter is basically a sniper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but if the grid goes down, then they try. They're cut off from their support and other stuff. There is, if it's a long term, a longer term, more than a month. If you're looking at 3 months, it's areas are just going to it's going to be also depending on what time of the year. There's going to be a huge death rate, and if it happens, say in November, and it's out for 3 months, so it means it's out for all of November, all of December, all of January. Massive die-off.
And then you have the spring thaw and the smell.
Yeah, but not even worried about that. I'm talking about surviving. Then you're going to you're going to be missing a lot of talented people to rebuild. If it's just the United States, they ain't gonna be coming north. If they got power in Mexico, they ain't coming north. They're staying down there. They may be criminal, but they're not totally stupid. Some of them may try, but then see, once the power's out, everyone along the border that's been trying to protect the border knows, it's open season now on anybody trying to come across that river. So there's going to be a whole, if they're going to find out, trying to come across, it's going to be.
Yeah, with mass die-offs, you have lots of diseases too.
All right, Steve says they're going to try to come north, grab stuff, and head back. Yeah, the cell towers. A lot of cell towers out in the middle of nowhere don't have backup power. Those that do aren't solar powered; they're generators, and they'll only run for so long. And if the whole system would go down, there are too few techs to be going out there checking on all the generators and stuff.
That's assuming somebody doesn't go out and steal the generators.
Exactly. Power goes down and go, hey, there's a generator over here on these cell towers. No one's around. Power's out.
Yeah, when you disconnect it, the alarms go off. They're going to be like, okay, that one's down.
Yeah. So, so the thing is, I picked out some of the worst states. I went over the 12 worst states in DC, and then from what I was looking at, there are others. There are a lot of them. I mean, the difference between some of them as you get going is, which position there is minuscule. There are some that are areas that are going to be a lot better off. There are going to be some areas that are going to be a lot worse.
Yeah. Wait. Does that fall into? I don't mean this literally for me. Take my wife, please.
I expected that from Prepper 101, not you.
Says it. I don't mean that literally. No, we're sticking together on this one.
Yeah.
Take my neighbors though.
Oh yeah, Stephanie, Yuma. My wife was thinking down along this. Well, what about Yuma? I go, no. All right, let's keyboard builds jet turbines for military use that spins generators that produce massive amounts of electricity. However,
the fuel,
the military standard for electricity is different than the general populace standard. When I was in the high school I was in, bought a military generator. They couldn't use it because the voltage was totally different. They had, it took them they just sat there for years until we were there. So, well, can it be rewired to put, rewiring stuff to put out, 480, 240, and 120. And then I moved away. So I don't know. They were talking about getting an electrician to rewire it.
What do those things run at? 600?
Something weird. I'm not sure. It's something like that.
Probably 50 hertz, not 60.
And 3-phase. I know the construction company I worked for bought one with and they bought a couple big military generators, and they had a contract with electrical company. These guys came in and in 2 days had rewired the generators.
Wow!
So they got cheap, really good generators to use to pump the 480 3-phase water pumps on job sites. Yeah, Steve's right. They'll take the pretty females like AOC and Hamilton back.
Take Nancy, please.
Oh, you try giving them Nancy, we're going to have a war on our hands. They will not want to take Nancy.
But her husband knows how to use a hammer.
Yeah.
Sorry, had to go there.
Yeah. Oh. You have to look at that one here. Yeah. So my main thought with this was just to give you guys some ideas of which areas are good, which areas are bad, and realize even in the states, there's good areas in the state and there's bad areas in the state. Hey, look at Texas. Some areas of Texas are out there. Is anybody around? All I see are cows. Driving across northern Nevada, you got like 50 miles between towns. You got like 120 miles between cities.
50 miles between a gas station, a 7-Eleven, and a grocery store.
Oh, the truck stops. There's truck stops. They're about, I'm not thinking of the big ones. The big TNA one's 40 miles out of one and 40 miles the other way. So, yeah. It could be 8. It could be yeah. The thing is, though, it doesn't need to be a major cyber attack. The guys get in here. They could, they could just sabotage the towers. Like I showed the one tower that had fallen over. I said, hey, they can. Let me see. There we go. They can sabotage several of these towers and the nodes, the connection nodes. They hit several connection nodes and stuff, and a big area is going to go down. They start taking out. They plan to take out 10, 15 of those towers and get a half dozen nodes taken down. You're looking at a quarter of the country could go down, and depending how the surge affects other nodes and other transformers otherwhere, you could have a domino effect where it's going to take weeks and weeks to recover from.
Hey, just in case anybody was thinking about it, we need gas. Whoa, let's go siphon the fuel out of the tanks at the car dealerships, break a window. Just for reference, car dealerships do not have full tanks of gas in any of their vehicles. There's not even 5 gallons.
Yeah.
2 in there. And
there's barely enough to go on a couple of test drives.
Test drives, and then they stop and put like 5 gallons in it. That's it.
Yeah.
They used to come in with half tanks of fuel back in the 80s and 90s. Not anymore.
Yeah. But yes, and some dealerships have stopped keeping gas tanks on. They used to have like the 250-gallon gas tanks.
Oh, none of them do anymore.
Yeah, none of them have that anymore. You're lucky if they have a 50-gallon barrel to fill up a car or to give a car half a tank when they sell it, if they even do that.
Nope, they don't. Most places have gas stations next door.
Yeah.
But if you want oil, if you need like a 1030, 530, 50, they got 500-gallon drums of that stuff up, usually somewhere buried in the shop area. But I'm sure the technicians will get that one before you even get a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, the control systems are quite a bit more resilient now than they were in 2000. There are a lot of the power stuff have been the major ones have been taken, and some of them have been totally taken offline, so they can't be hacked. They have a computer there that's online, and then they have a computer that controls it. And the technician sitting there, oh, I need to do that. Okay. Verify, does it.
Unless somebody sticks a USB drive in it, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Here's your update. Don't forget to update now. Please put your USB drive in your computer that's not connected to the internet. Thank you.
No, well, the thing is, the only ones allowed to do that are the IT specialists. And they go around and do stuff they go around to do it. There are, so things to think about: long-term, short-term, intermediate term power outages, local, regional, across the country, across the world. Yeah. So just to get everybody excited here, the last couple of days, Ben Davison's been talking about the magnetosphere's deterioration. He's been showing the drop, and in 2023, the decrease in the power of the Earth's magnetosphere started taking a steeper dive than projected. Everyone see all the cool aurora borealis and northern lights and stuff down in Florida and Texas? Not a good sign. There was the recent storm here a couple days last week. So last week, the week before, that the way the minor little burp the sun had, not really a burp, sort of like a and what happened to the geomagnetic storm that hit the Earth was like, what the heck? That should only have been a KP4, maybe a KP5, not a KP7. Yep, exactly, Kaylin. Kaylin follows Ben Davison too all the time too. So, but yeah, there's it's things to consider on for your individual self. What can you get? What can you not get? What can you afford? What can't you afford? What can you not afford not to do? Yeah, I believe it's the solar maximum peaks later this year or early next year is the peak of it, and then it drops down on its 11-year cycle. So
apparently there's a few more cycles involved there too, but I'm not going to go down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's the 11-year cycle for the solar, and there's the 11-year cycle. There is a 45-year cycle or something like that. Yep. There's a bunch of different cycles of things go, but then but what's bad?
At the same time, that's what's really bad.
What's bad is we're coming on the 12-year major disaster event cycle coming up here in the next couple decades. So,
Agenda 2030 had to go there.
No, we're looking at they were thinking it was possibly going to be in the 2050s, and then they moved it to the 2040s. And now a lot of scientists are getting worried that it may even creep into the late 2030s. The way the magnetosphere is dropping and stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, he's trying to think what he said. All right, today we were supposed to get a very, very, I have to look at it. No, we're supposed to have a medium chance today of a glancing blow from that cat. What was it? It was a class, I think it was M9, almost an X class one. And then there was then tomorrow is another one for even a minor one from one that just went off, that's aiming mainly away. And then on Monday is supposed to be the Corona Hole Stream solar storm that's supposed to be hitting the world. So
they can predict this stuff, but they can't predict the weather. Gotcha.
No, no, they don't predict when it's going to occur, when the event's going to occur. They're just saying, okay, all right, we just had a solar flare. Okay, it's blowing this direction. Okay, we're expecting it now. It's going to take so many hours for it to get here. This is what's coming. So
was it like 2 days or something, or 2.5 days?
Yeah, the minor one is for tomorrow. Yeah, and Ben had it down at like 20%. He thinks that because of what the coronagraphs are showing and what Soho and NASA were saying it's like or NASA and NOAA were saying from the chronograph showing it's like he doesn't buy it.
But AOC said if it happens at night, it won't bother us. I had to go there. This is why you invite me on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone was thinking, okay, so it's only what's facing the sun. No, because as it comes around, it goes around the magnetosphere, protects a little bit. It starts going around, and it comes back down at the polar regions. And once that's coming down back in the polar region, because the force is elongating the magnetosphere, it hits the dark side of the Earth harder.
It goes around at 360 degrees, not just the east and west or north and south. It goes around.
Yeah, but it comes around and it goes around, hits the one side, it passes, and it comes back around. Yeah, an EMP is not a rifle bullet. An EMP is more like
CME.
No, an EMP is more like giving Corsair trainers a Mark 19 and say have fun, and he has 30 belts of grenades hooked up to it. Dunk, 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 dunk. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be hitting everywhere and covering regional, everything.
CME is worldwide.
Yeah. Oh, it's what is that? Steve, are you still here? Were you trained on the Mark 19? Did you have fun on the Mark 19 when you were in? I've been watching some videos on the Marines shooting off the Mark 19. It's scary. All right, you see that vehicle way out there? Take it out. Boom, 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 boom. And then wait a few seconds. Boom, boom. Okay, just boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Anyways, all right. So we're going to wrap this up here. Hope everybody has some thoughts and stuff. If you want to know more about some of the, check some of my previous playlists. Some of my previous stuff. I have a power playlist. I got to make sure that I had Minuteman Prep in here, talking solar generators. I hate that term. Portable power stations, and use of solar and stuff and everything else. I also just did the one about RV solar power here, talking about stuff for solar power for that. But coming up on Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound, it's 8 o'clock Eastern time, is what is hard to can. So we're talking about, when you're canning, pressure canning or water bath canning, what is hard to can and what some things you don't even want to can. Here on Gray Man Prepping on Tactical Tuesday, also 8 o'clock start Eastern time. Figure out your time zones from Eastern. This is a request from several people to address bug out vehicles, good, bad, and the ugly. So we're going to be talking about bug out vehicles. And then Thursday night, the midnight ride is going to be 10 o'clock Eastern, which puts it midnight down in Rio de Janeiro. Party. Friday night on Camp Patton Family Compound, I'm dancing around this one. The topic is never promised you a rose garden. So what that's going to be, you're going to have to come see what that one is. It's going to be interesting. Next Saturday here, the topic is unhealthcare system. You got to get it right. Unhealthcare system. Not the healthcare system. It's an unhealthcare system.
Is that like Obamacare?
No, it's like everybody got to get. Oh, we're going to put this in your food. We're going to do that. We're going to do this for you. Yeah, unhealthcare. All right, everyone. Thanks for your comments on the side, your inputs, your questions. Thank you, Mark, for coming on up here. Frog balls? What?
I can't see the comment.
There it is. Frog balls, aka Brussels sprouts. All right. And like people said, that's all, folks. All right. See y'all later.
Have a good night.